designated leader for the pledge. How about you, sir? Would you lead the pledge? Okay, very good.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you, guys. As customary, we'd like to begin our meeting with announcements and reports and begin with Mayor Frank Brocato. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. President. We would like tonight to honor our telecommunicators. It is National Public Safety Telecommunication Week, and we would ask our Director Linda Moore and Supervisor Colin Connor if they would come down. Our dispatchers do an incredible job taking 911 calls. They deal with obviously the most difficult situations in the city and have to transfer that information safely and accurately to our police officers and our firefighters, as well as our citizens, oftentimes assisting citizens with medical emergencies, even delivering babies, instructing on how to do CPR, what to do in the event of a fire. So it's an incredibly difficult job, and we want to honor them tonight with this proclamation. So, Mr. City Attorney.
Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property, and whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Hoover Emergency Communications Center, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information and ensuring their safety, and whereas public safety telecommunicators of the Hoover Emergency Communications Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients, and whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year, now therefore I, Frank V. Brocato, resolved, Mayor of the City of Hoover, do hereby declare the week of April 10 through 16, 2022 to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the City of Hoover in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our city and citizens safe.
All right, we have several candidates here for elected office, and we will begin with them. And we're going to begin with, we would ask each candidate to only take 2 or 3 minutes. There's 6 of you here tonight, and while everyone loves a good political speech, we've got a full agenda to take care of. So if you would help us honor our time and our guests with a 2-minute introduction, we would appreciate that. And begin with Ms. Kathy Ann Alexis, candidate for District Court Judge in place 10. Kathy Ann.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to greet you. My name is Attorney Kathy Ann Alexis, and I'm running for District Court Judge, Place 10 in the Bessemer Cutoff. A little bit about me. I definitely am the only candidate that has a distinct honor, and I say honor, of going from being a homeless mom to being an attorney, to being a special judge, to being a city attorney, city prosecutor, appellate prosecutor, and now running for judge. And the reason that I found myself in that place, after 20 years, I found myself homeless with my 2 girls, and I had to figure it out. And what I did was I worked really hard. I worked at UPS, at US Pipe, while I was and also security while I was working to pass the bar. And after I passed the bar, I worked really, really hard as well. I meet with clients as early as 7 o'clock in the morning all the way up to 11 o'clock at night. And so you can look at the back of my push card. I have my JD. I also have an LLM in International Tax and Finance, and I also completed a leadership program with Harvard University. What I want you to remember about me is that I absolutely care. You can have judicial temperament, you can do all of that, and they've streamlined how we apply to even be judged this year. But one thing you cannot streamline is hard work. You cannot streamline being dedicated and actually caring about the people that come in front of you. And when I went through my divorce, the judge didn't look at me, he didn't pay attention, he didn't ask any questions, he didn't do anything wrong, but I was dedicated to wanting to do something different. So as you look at all of the candidates for this position, I'm asking that you remember me. Remember Attorney Kathy Ann Alexis. I'm going to put in the hard work. I have the support of over 120 attorneys between Birmingham and Bessemer that are supporting my candidacy. I also have the support of the sitting judge, Judge Deborah Bennett Winston, and the presiding domestic relations judge in Birmingham. So I'm asking for your prayers, your support, and your vote. May 24th, please remember Kathy Ann Alexis for District Court Judge, place 10. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alexis. Next, we'd like to invite Matt Casey, candidate for Shelby County District Attorney. Mr. Casey, welcome.
Thank you, council members. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Matt Casey. I'm running for Shelby County District Attorney. I have been a deputy district attorney in Jefferson County for 14 years. Our current DA in Shelby County, Jill Lee, is not seeking re-election, so this will be an open spot. In my 14 years in Jefferson County, I've been assigned to drug court, I've been assigned to domestic violence court, I've been assigned to DUI court, I've been assigned to juvenile court, and I've been assigned to circuit court, where I've been the lead prosecutor on thousands of felony cases, including hundreds of jury trials, including capital murder, sexual assault, burglary, theft, trafficking, every kind of drug you can think of. You name it, I've probably tried it 2 or 3 times. On May 24th, the Republican primary will take place, and I would appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Casey. Next, we'd like to welcome Ms. Ruth Robinson. Ms. Robinson is a candidate for Jefferson County Circuit Court, place 20. Welcome, Ms. Robinson.
Thank you. As you said, I'm Ruth Robinson. I appreciate your time tonight. I promise to keep it short. I'm Ruth Robinson. I'm a native of Birmingham. I grew up in Homewood. I see some familiar faces here. It's so good to see everyone. I'm running for place 20, which is a domestic relations court position. And I'm running because I believe that it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids, especially in a domestic relations case. And the domestic relations judge will be the judge that grants divorce, that hears trials on divorces, and decides custody issues and child support. I'm running for my kids, I'm running for your kids, I'm running for the kids of this county because I believe that the children are often placed last when a couple decides to divorce. They're often used as weapons when they really should be put first. And so that's my spill, and I appreciate your vote on May the 24th in the Democratic primary. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we'd like to welcome Miss Alicia May Ruffin, running for Jefferson County Circuit Court, place 20.
Good evening, Hoover. My name is Alicia Ruffin May, and as stated, I am running for Circuit Court Judge Place 20. Place 20 is an open seat in Domestic Relations Court. In the time I have, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and then a little about my vision. First and foremost, I'll tell you about my background. I attended the University of Alabama for both undergraduate and law school. I've been a practicing attorney in the Birmingham area for 22 years now. I currently sit on the bench in Jefferson County Family Court, where I serve as a senior trial court referee. As senior trial court referee, I literally have heard thousands of cases dealing with matters of custody, child support, and other family court issues. I am running for Circuit Court Judge in Jefferson County Domestic Relations because I am here to serve you, the people of Jefferson County in particular. It's my vision to create a courtroom where the law is applied fairly and accurately each and every time. It's my vision to maintain an atmosphere of courtesy, dignity, and respect. I want people to be able to walk in the courtroom with their head held high, but I also want you to be able to walk out with your head held high. And I want to create a courtroom where cases are handled expeditiously. I mean, moving these cases on, it should not take years and years for a court case to be resolved. And it's time to hold attorneys and litigants to the fire so that we can move these cases along, so people can get a resolution and move on with their lives. That being said, I want to leave you with this one quote that I heard from Dr. Michelle Obama. She said that positions and titles, it doesn't change who you are, it reveals who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, I know who I am, and I want to share that with you. I am a hardworking public servant, dedicated to improving the lives of all citizens. I am working for justice every single day. I have a heart for all people, and I am here to serve. And so for that reason, I ask that you vote for me, Alicia Ruffin May, Circuit Court Judge, Place 20, May 24th. If you can't remember all of that, just remember vote May in the month of May. Thank you all so much, and be blessed.
Thank you, Ms. Ruffin. Next, we'd like to welcome Dr. Brian Christine, candidate for Alabama State Senate, District 15.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you for letting me be here. My name is Dr. Brian Christine, and I'm running for the Alabama State Legislature, specifically for the State Senate for District 15. And District 15 does include parts of Hoover. I actually went to medical school in Atlanta, and I came here 30 years ago this summer for my training at the university. I am a urologist. The group I belong to is called Urology Centers of Alabama. We have physicians all over the area. Why am I running? Well, I'm a surgeon, and I look at the world through a surgeon's eyes, which means when I see a problem, I immediately want to fix it. I think we have a cancer that's present in our state, and that cancer really is, it is a lack of confidence and a lack of trust that people have in our state legislature, in their legislators, and who can blame them? Legislators spend our money, they pat themselves on the back, and we're still 52nd in education. We are 40th in healthcare. We are 30th in maternal health care. Something has to change. People say, well, Brian, why are you doing this? You're a surgeon, you have a successful practice. Well, it's because we are 52nd in education, 40th in education, 30th in maternal health care. There are real problems in this state. I will tell you what I am not. I am not a politician. I am not someone who intends to want to go to Montgomery and then focus on the next election, focus on the lobbyists, focus on the special interest groups. What I want to do is focus on the voters. And I will tell you, as I get out and I meet people, I knock on doors and I give talks, people say, Brian, what do you think about term limits? Strict believer in term limits. People will say to me all around, I don't even know who my state senator is in this district. And I will promise you that will never be a problem if I'm elected. I want to be available. I'm not going to make a career out of this, but I truly want to be there from you. I've served the state in the operating room for almost 30 years. I simply want to perform another type of service, which will be in Montgomery. I would love to have your support. I'd love to have your confidence in your vote. The primary is May 24th. My website is out there. My cell phone is on the website. Please call me. I get calls from people, and about half the time I'll say, hey, this is Brian, and they'll say, I just wanted to see if you'd call me back, Doc. No politician has ever done that before. Call me, speak to me. I'd love to earn your support. Thank you very much.
And finally, Ms. Carrie Page Parker. Ms. Parker, she is a candidate for Jefferson County District Court, Place 10. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As stated, I am Carrie Page Parker. I'm running for District Court Judge, Place 10. That place sits in the Bessemer Courthouse, but it covers the entire Bessemer cutoff, which includes parts of Hoover. I'm born and raised in Bessemer. I've lived in parts of the Bessemer cutoff, served in parts of the Bessemer cutoff, and worked in parts of the Bessemer cutoff most of my life. I am currently a resident of Hoover, and I'm in the part of Hoover that's in the Bessemer cutoff. Both of my daughters are graduates of Hoover High School. The last one happened to have the misfortune of graduating in 2020 during the pandemic. This year marks 25 years since I graduated from the University of Alabama School of Law, passed the bar exam, and started practicing law. The focus of my law practice has always been serving the legal needs of the people. I have been a contract attorney with legal services, providing legal services for people who couldn't otherwise afford an attorney. I've been an attorney at the YWCA, representing victims of domestic violence, helping them get their protection orders, their divorce, or whatever else they needed to get out of the situation that they were in. I currently work for Legal Aid Society of Birmingham. We are present in the family courts in Birmingham. I'm currently in the family court in Bessemer. I've been there for the last 6 years. What I do for legal services, I represent children when the Department of Human Resources gets involved with families, or when another adult may file a petition regarding a child who needs some intervention from the state and services from the court. As I said, my goal has always been serving, making sure that people's legal needs are met. And if you all elect me to the bench to be the next district court judge, I will continue that service. If you walk into the courtroom and I'm sitting as the judge, you will be treated with fairness and you will be given justice. Fairness meaning that every person that walks in that courtroom will have their opportunity to be heard, they will be listened to, they will know that they have a judge who will know the law and who will apply the law fairly. So I'm asking you on May the 24th to vote Carrie Page Parker for District Court Judge Place 10. For those of you who are in Hoover, those polling places, according to the Board of Registrars, that can vote in the Bessemer cutoff are Ross Bridge Welcome Center, Hunter Street, Hoover Met. I say Hunter Street, Hoover Met because we were voting at the Hoover Met, and then I got a notice about a month ago that we're voting back at Hunter Street for this election. So if you didn't get that notice, you may want to check your polling place. Prince of Peace Catholic Church, Shades Crest Baptist Church, Oakmont Chapel Presbyterian Church, Hoover Park and Recreation Center, Shades Mountain Community Church, and Bluff Park United Methodist Church. So all of you who vote in those places and in any other place in the Bessemer cutoff, May 24th, vote Carrie Page Parker for District Court Judge, Place 10. Thank you.
Thank you to each of our candidates for being here tonight, and good luck to each of you in your respective primaries. If you felt like you were in the presence of champions tonight, that's because we are very honored tonight to have the Hoover High Lady Bucks here, who are the 2022 Alabama 7A state champs. Ladies and Coach Johnson, would you please make your way down front? As they're making their way down, I want to just share a few stats with you. Coach Crystal Johnson is here, and Coach Johnson won her 4th championship in the last 6 years. This team finished overall 34-3, capping the season on March 5th with a win over our neighboring Vestavia Hills team, and they are 8-0 in their area. Mayor, would you please join us up here? But we're very proud of each of you ladies and how well you've represented the city of Hoover and Hoover High School, and we just wanted to welcome you here and congratulate you on a state championship.
You do. I'm standing as straight as I can.
You're gonna have to
Somebody just pick me up.
get you a milk crate.
Yeah, I know. They're as tall as I am standing over there.
You and Carl milk crate.
I'll take 2. Here we go. Count 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Get on my toes back again. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Go Bucks, way to go, ladies.
First, I just want to thank you all for having us here. I'm a 2001 graduate of Hoover High School, so it brings me great pride to lead these ladies and bring another state championship to my alma mater. So thank you all for having us, and I hope you enjoy your hat.
We also have with us tonight members of the Hoover Beautification Board to share with us an annual winner of the litter contest. Ms. Calloway, do you want to introduce it, or Ms. Daigle, are you here to?
I'll introduce.
Good. Come on. Welcome, Ms. Betty Daigle.
It's our pleasure to once again announce a winner for Hoover, whose poster will move on to the state contest in Montgomery later this month. Our student is Nanya. Nanya, and Miss Young is going to go up with her. Hold your poster in front of you so everybody can see it. Our contest this year is done in association with Alabama Peoples of Fighting Against a Littered State, and the theme this year was It's Up to You in 2022, Keep Alabama Litter Free. And Nanya is a fifth grade student at Deer Valley Elementary, and she was our winning entry this year. Nanya's teacher is Miss Christine Collier. Stand up, Christine. And her parents are here with her, Rajesh and Bhumika. Did I get it? And they are here with her also this evening. So we're very proud of her and are happy to send her poster down to Montgomery this week.
Yeah, Mayor, would you join us for a picture, please? Thank you, Ms. Getty. All right, next we have a financial report. I believe Ms. Bolt will come and give us an update on our city finances.
Is the clicker up here?
It was in the drawer last week.
Okay. Got it. Okay, good evening. Before you, you have the, in your packet, you have the actual financials, and this is just a short presentation of, this is to date for January 2022. This is the fourth period of the fiscal year. Some of the things I want you to, this first page is a comparison of the budget to year-to-date actual. Since we are in the fourth period of 2022, that we should be at about 33% of our budget. If you look at total revenues, they are actually at 58 million, so that is 41.2% of our budget. So we're over our budget in receiving our revenues. Total expenditures are 35.3 million, which is 28%, which is where we want to be, is under on expenditures, and then uses is 2.3 million of 19.1. So that gives us a net change in fund balance as of January 2022 of 20.4 million. If you look at the very bottom, the fund balance at the beginning of the year, and this is our last audited fund balance of 47.7 million. If we add our fund balance to that, our net change at the end of the year will be 68.1 million. Again, let me reiterate, as I say every time, we still have a lot left in the year that we are looking at and we will be spending, so I don't perceive that we will get to that point, but that's where we are at this point.
The next page is just a comparison of the revenues from budget to year-to-date actual. If you look at the breakdown of sales and use tax, other taxes, license and permits, intergovernmental, total fines and forfeitures, total interest, and then other miscellaneous revenues. Our grand total for that is, again, the 58.1 million, and the percent of budget is 41.2. But you can see on our sales and use tax, we are at 39.1% of our budget, other taxes at 49.8, and total licenses and permits at 55. And the last page is just a breakdown of our general fund sales tax from the different areas of sales tax. And this is a comparison from year to year of what we brought in January 2021 to January 2022. The difference for general sales tax is 2.7 million, which we anticipated we would be up, have an increase, and so we continue to see that increase as we did when we looked at the financials for December. Casual sales tax is up 42,000. Seller's use tax is down a little bit. Sometimes that takes a little bit throughout the year to catch up. Consumer use tax is a negative or less than 8,000, but again, sometimes that takes a little bit to catch up. And then SSUT, we are up by 375,000. So our total sales and use tax is an increase of 2.7 million. Any questions?
Any questions from Ms. Bolt? Very good. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I have a few special guests I want to recognize in the chambers tonight. We're always honored to have former Councilman Joe Reeves here. Joe, pleasure to have you here. And we have 3 members of our Board of Education tonight, Mr. Craig Kelly, Ms. Amy Tosney, and Mr. Alan Paquette. Welcome you 3 individuals as well. Thank you for being here. We now move to our consent agenda. The consent agenda is offered as items which are deemed to be non-controversial that can have one block vote by the members. I would ask if there is any member who would like to have one of the items listed before you, items 6 through 15. If there's any item on items 6 through 15 that a member would like removed, we'll be happy to do that now. If there's any member of the public that's here to speak on behalf of items 6 through 15, we'll be happy to remove those items. Which number?
Like number 6, right?
Number. We will take a motion for that. If there's a motion to approve without reading, they will not be read. Any other item that would like to be removed to the regular agenda? Seeing none? Mr. Corley.
Pardon me. Having some computer difficulties here. Item number 6 is the approval of minutes from the March 31st, 2022 work session and the April 4th, 2022 meeting. Item number 7, Resolution 669222 approves an alcohol license for Harry Hospitality, LLC, doing business as Embassy Suites Hoover, 2960 John Hawkins Parkway. Resolution 669322 authorizes Mayor Brocato to enter into a service agreement with the Terry Farrell Firefighters Scholarship Fund, Incorporated. Item number 9, Resolution 669422 declares that certain personal property is not needed for public or municipal purposes and directs the disposal of such property. Resolution 669522 declares certain personal property not needed for public or municipal purposes and directs the disposal of said property. Resolution 669622 authorizes the acceptance of a bid for the Highway 150 turn lane at Whisperwood Drive from Norris Paving and authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement for the same. Resolution 669722 authorizes the acceptance of a bid for correctional facility food and beverage from Gordon Food Service and authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement as such. Resolution number 669822 authorizes the acceptance of a bid for electrical maintenance and repair services from Monroe Electric Company, Inc., and authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement for this work. Resolution 669922 amends the budget for fiscal year ending September 30, 2022, and Resolution 670122 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an engagement letter with Wallace, Jordan, Ratliff, and Brand.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the consent agenda minus item number 6, which has been withdrawn to the regular agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and second for approval of all items on the consent agenda with exception of number 6. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We'll now move to the regular agenda, beginning with item number 6, approval of minutes for March 17th work session and March 21st meeting.
Mr. President, I move for approval of the minutes without reading, sir.
Second. We have a motion and second. Are there any questions from the members? Any questions from the audience? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Item number, get to my regular agenda. No. Is it? Yeah. Item number 16, resolution number 6700-22. Mr. Corley.
This resolution appoints a member of the Hoover Board of Education for a term of 5 years.
Mr. President, I move to approve Resolution 6700-22.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Corley, is there a name in that resolution?
Yes, Amy Tosney.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. McClendon, just to clarify, is that your motion?
Correct.
And your second, Mr. Posey?
Yes, sir.
Very good. We have a motion and a second for approval of Amy Tosney to be appointed to the Board of Education. Any questions or comments from members of the body?
Mr. President, just one statement. First of all, I want to commend Councilman McClinton for his level of detail with this process. Going through, setting up interviews, applications for a very important position is so critical. I didn't make the physical meeting, but I had opportunity to view it online. And thanks to Mike Shaw, we moved away from an antiquated phone in the background that recorded to a system that actually is functional. Definitely will support Ms. Tosney because she has done a fantastic job, but definitely want to commend Dr. Offer too, and ask her to continue to pursue it even next year, get involved into other areas of the City of Hoover education. She did a fantastic job, and with her K-12 experience, I think can be a great attribute to the City of Hoover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Any other questions or comments from the body? Any questions or comments from members of the audience? Hearing and seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Ms. Tosney, welcome for an, oh, I'm sorry. Do we have an abstention?
Abstain, please.
We have an abstention, so with one abstention. Ms. Tosney, welcome back to the Hoover Board of Education. Thank you, Dr. Middlebrooks. I'm sorry I missed that abstention. Item number 17, ordinance number 22-2561 for a second reading. Mr. Corley.
This ordinance is to rescind ordinance number 222555.
Mr. President, I move for adoption of ordinance number 22-2561.
Second.
We have a motion and second for adoption of the ordinance. Any questions or comments from the members? Questions or comments from members of the public? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Posey?
Aye.
Mr. Sweeney?
Aye.
Mr. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Middlebrooks?
Aye.
Mr. McClinton?
Aye.
Mr. Lyda?
Aye. It's a vote of 7 ayes, 0 nays. The motion carries and the ordinance is adopted. Item number 18, ordinance number 22-2562 for a second reading. Mr. Corley.
This ordinance provides for certain amendments to the zoning ordinance of Hoover, Alabama.
Mr. President, I move for adoption of ordinance number 22-2562.
Second.
We have a motion and second for adoption of the ordinance. Any questions or comments from the body? Questions or comments from the audience? Hearing and seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Posey?
Aye.
Mr. Sweeney?
Aye.
Mr. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Aye.
Dr. Middlebrooks?
Aye.
Mr. McClinton?
Aye.
Mr. Lyda?
Aye, that's 7 ayes, 0 nays. Motion carries and the ordinance is adopted. Item number 19, resolution 667822, a public hearing. Mr. Corley.
This resolution grants conditional use approval for a mixed-use retail office space for property located at 2154 Clearbrook Road and 775 Shades Mountain Plaza, Hoover, Alabama.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 6678-22.
Second.
Motion and a second. We will open the public hearing by asking if there's any members of the council who wish to speak or ask a question on this resolution. Hearing none. Any member of the audience here would like to speak about resolution 667822? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. We have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, And the motion carries. That brings us to the end of our agenda, and I would ask now if the council has any public comments tonight.
Mr. President, I have one.
Yes, sir.
I always joke that with our international efforts, we've identified many people from Hoover that like to play cricket because of the international sport of cricket is the second most popular sport in the world with over 1 billion viewers of their World Cup. But I always joke that Hoover is a hotbed of cricket because we have so many people that have expressed interest in it. Well, at our tournament last week, we saw that that's not just a joke. I mean, it really is. There's a lot of cricket players. We had several hundred. Mayor, I think we had, I would guess, between 500 and 600 total that came through, maybe more. And it was a really good event. Lots of food, lots of people of all kinds from all over, just showing what the diversity we have in Hoover and what a great facility we have that it can facilitate just about any sport, and cricket it did great. And Mr. Mayor, I would thank you for throwing an easy pitch because I'm not a great cricket player. But we got out there and had some fun learning how to do it. So, but anyway, thank you to the city so much for making it a great event. It turned out to be an awesome event, and a lot of people had fun.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Any other questions or comments from the body? Any questions or comments from members of the public who are here tonight? Yes, sir. If you could come down and give us your name and address, please, sir.
My name is Thomas Van Ness. I live at 3117 Paradise Acres, 35244. Paradise Acres is on one side of Paradise Lake. Paradise Lake, when I moved in there in February of 1991, was an absolutely clear sheet of water. Within a few years, the Patton Creek Shopping Center was built, and there was a lot of sediment that came in. And ADAM was brought in, the Cahaba River Society was brought in, and nobody, and I believe the Hoover Council of that time was also brought into it, but nothing was done. What happened was the Paradise Acres Lake Association found that there was satellite pictures. We took the satellite pictures from before, during, and after the construction, and it was connected to the construction of the Patton Creek Shopping Center, the sediment that came in and filled in. A suit was about to be filed, but there was I forget what they call the term, the company cooperated with us, paid certain monies and paid to have it dredged out. And that was something that happened. But the thing that is interesting about this lake is it is not a lake as we consider it. It is not a lake that is surrounded by bodies of water. It has inflows, notably Patton Creek. And all the sediment from Patton Creek flows into this lake. This lake has been here for some time, and I was proud to see the Boy Scouts here tonight because that used to be a Boy Scout camp. And the dam that is there was put in, I believe, by the Boy Scouts to create a lake so that they could have their water sports. You couldn't do that today because since the time that the dredging was done by AIT Baker, something else has happened upstream. We have no control over what comes down the stream. I'm not sure who does have the control of that, but there's storm sewers, there's all kind of construction, there's trash, there's garbage that comes down the line. My feeling is, correct or not, that the city of Hoover has something to do with regulating that. And I would like to bring that to your attention at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Van Ness. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Melissa Watts. I'm located at 1716 Patton Chapel Road in Hoover. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. Gloria Arroyo, former president of the Philippines, said we have to be bold in our ambitions. We must improve moral standards in government and society to provide a strong foundation for good governance. And we must change the character of our politics to promote fertile grounds for reform. Furthermore, Barack Obama said, it's time to fundamentally change the way that we do business and government. We need a new foundation. We need to reform our government so that it's more efficient, more transparent, and more creative. That will demand new thinking and new sense of responsibility for every dollar that is spent. I've looked at your 20-year plan for expansion and progress, and I'm all for the revenue stream that expansion and progress would bring to Hoover. But I am very concerned that it will contribute to the continued crumbling of our city's storm and sewer water system that has been woefully neglected. I understand that this governing body feels the need to offer something new and fresh to businesses in the area, to entice them to bring their money and to bring their jobs into Hoover. However, look at what happened to our empty shopping centers and offices, suites, and businesses all over Hoover, because what was shiny and alluring then didn't last. I want to emphasize here that what needs to change here is us, you and me. We need to be the thing that is fresh and new. That is what will draw businesses and jobs to Hoover, and that is what will keep them in Hoover. Why not pour some of the a good deal of the 20-year plan money into the businesses that suffered during COVID and refill the shopping centers that are empty, and instead of building more? If you continue on this path with the sleight of hand, showing this thing over here, while not showing the empty shopping centers over here, our community is being set up for catastrophic economic failure. Look at the Eastwood Mall area with Century Plaza. Look at Irondale and many other communities that did the same thing. Discontent, blaming, self-pity cannot serve as a foundation for a good future, no matter how much effort you make. Mr. Mayor, Council, citizens of Hoover, I will not be discontent. I will seek a solution. I will not blame, but I will hold accountable this council and this administration. I will not complain, but I will campaign for those that can implement a brighter future for Hoover. I will not be self-pitying, but I pity those that are oblivious to the problems we are facing in our infrastructure. And most importantly, I will not sit idly by and watch this city's foundation crumble. I am committed to being that new and fresh person that will help move this city forward into a progressive, productive, and profitable home for us all. Are you? Are you willing to be that new and fresh person? I am.
Thank you, Ms. Watts. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Jennifer Cripps from 3128 Paradise Acres. And I saw that beautiful poster that little girl drew and got an award for it, and it looked great. But the top of that water was covered with litter, which also happens down Patton Creek and into Paradise Lake. And if we're rewarding students for pointing that out and trying to limit the litter, can we start here? Can we start right here in Hoover and cleaning it up? Several times a month, I'll go out there in my boat and get garbage bags full of litter off of Paradise Lake, to try to keep it from the Cahaba. That's my own initiative. I do that. But what can we do from keeping it coming down? How do we keep the sediment coming down so it's still a lake? I'm still asking that question and not sure how to get an answer, but I'm still asking. I'm looking for cleaning up of that area.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Also, I want to recognize tonight former Birmingham City Councilor Jay Roberson, representing the fine folks of District 7. Jay, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Welcome to the chambers. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Josh Winther. I don't have a house. I'm 18, so that'd be kind of weird. That's my dad. He brought me here to film this because, he comes here a lot. And he talks about how much people talk about the creek overflow and, all the water runoff. I'm laughing because, wow, just do something. It's not that big a deal. You can throw a party for, cricket, but you can't fix some water for your citizens? Seriously? Dude, what are you doing on your phone? Get off your phone.
You can have a seat. We need your address, please.
My address?
Yes.
I don't have a house.
Where do you reside?
5481 Scout Creek Drive.
Thank you, sir. You can have a seat. Anyone else like to speak tonight? Yes, ma'am. Folks, we're not going to allow people to come in here and make a mockery of this body. That's not, sir, we keep escorted out, please. Thank you. That's not what this body's about. Good night. Yes, ma'am.
Some of you might remember me. I'm KT Thomas, 1426 Scout Trace. Hoover has a flooding problem of which the City Council has been aware for a long time. April 7th, 2014, the council approved an MOU with the SBA to set up a relief center for flood victims. There was flooding on Morgan Road, Hoover Country Club, and so forth. July 26, 2017, there was flooding in River Chase Village. We all know Panda Express. The resolution was presented for over $100,000 to work on Napier, the Lake Crest area, and some other locations. The city engineer, Rod Long, stated that the city knew of the Mockingbird Lane, this is all at the same meeting, knew of the Mockingbird Lane flooding problem, but decided it was too costly to repair. The resolution passed 5 months later. October the 6th, 2021, the city was again facing flooding on Napier, Mockingbird, Hoover Country Club area, and so forth. The city owns the flooding problem and needs to accept that. The city is required to effectively deal with stormwater as part of the NPDES permit, which is the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System from EPA. The most recent MS4 report says the city of Hoover, this is 2021's report, demonstrates the city's efforts to maintain and comply with permit requirements. What does that mean when 2021 was possibly the worst flooding year in the history of Hoover? What does it mean when U.S. Steel and the Preserve were cited twice in 2021 by ADEM for poor practices, things that are supposed to be inspected? What does it mean when we can observe the pollution flowing from stormwater infrastructure into homes and yards, streams, rivers, and lakes? Hoover has a flooding problem. The question is if or how you're going to handle the problem. Are you going to be the leadership who step up and deal with the problem? Or are you going to keep defending the city's position, saying private property not accepted, and so forth? Hoover, however, this is the city's responsibility. If an HOA, for example, isn't stopping their flooding issues, get them to fix it. If the county is responsible for flooding, advocate for the residents. If it's a construction issue, make them stop work and fix it. We have rules for these things. If the subdivision is impacting another subdivision, fix it. If the city failed to do its duty of care, fix it. When the city is defensive instead of proactive, you are owning the problem and accepting the blame. I would hope that you would instead take strong action, own the problem, find solutions, and acknowledge the city's responsibility.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Very good. We're adjourned.